Hey guys, how are we all? Welcome back to the Twist the Bones podcast. I am so sorry that there hasn't been any episodes the past few weeks. I have been so busy, but I am back. So if you are new here, my name is Megan and I sit down and I read a bunch of scary, spooky, horrifying and weird stories that range from ghost stories and the paranormal to the real life encounters with creepy people and potentially dangerous people as well. So as always, I just want to quickly go over some housekeeping things before I do get into this week's story. Firstly, I will always credit the people who wrote these stories, so all the information will be in the description of each episode if you want to go and support these content creators, so all the links are there, so feel free to check that out. And finally, if you have your own scary story, so whether that be an encounter with a stalker or your own paranormal experience, ghost stories, all of that jazz, and you want it to be featured in a future episode, please reach out and send your story over to me. I would absolutely love to read and react to it. You can do this by either heading over to the Facebook page, which is just Twist the Bones Podcast, or you can email it to twistthebonespod@gmail.com. But apart from that, let's get into this week's story. So I came across a website called yourghoststories.com and it is very interesting. It's a place where people can just write their own scary stories, and this week I'm going to be reading a story written by Faith and it's called The Grand Haunting, a hotel no one knows is haunted. Before I get into this story today, I do just want to quickly say a little trigger warning here. There are some little details that some audience members may find disturbing, so maybe give this one a miss if you feel you could be potentially triggered by certain topics. I'm not much of a storyteller. However, I felt this was an experience that I needed to share. I'm Faith. I'm 19 and from a country called Wales in the UK. I've had a couple ghostly experiences and I'm quite a believer of the supernatural. However, this experience shook even me. Me and my boyfriend Kieran had been together for 4 years and we decided to stay at a hotel for our anniversary on the 16th of April 2019, since we never get time alone. We stayed at a place in Swansea called the Grand Hotel. When we got there, everything seemed fine and we were allocated to room 212. The first night was fine and nothing seemed out of place. We were having a great time and everything was happy. That was until things started to get weird. Things in the bathroom seemed to be moving places. At first, I assumed it was just the maids who had moved things while attending the room. Things kept moving and I started to realise they were even moving after the maids had been. Already a bit creeped out by the whole thing, I decided to tell my non-believer boyfriend Kieran all about it. He insisted that he hadn't moved anything. When he asked me what had moved, I explained how the glasses had turned the other way around and how both of our toothbrushes had been moved multiple times after me putting them back. Along with this, my bag with all my toiletries in had moved. My boyfriend thought that maybe I just hadn't remembered where I'd put stuff. I know this wasn't the case, as I can be OCD over my things and the exact place they must go. Things continued to move until one night, while my boyfriend was asleep, I saw a face. It was near the door of the bathroom, but it was too dark to make out. I thought it was the face of a woman watching me. I was petrified and woke my boyfriend, who just hugged me and told me to go to sleep without opening his eyes. And when I looked back, the face was gone, and I eventually went to sleep. On about the 5th night, me and my boyfriend had an argument before bed, and I was ignoring him when he fell asleep. I was so mad, furious even. The argument wasn't even serious, but I was so mad I went into the bathroom because I couldn't stand being in the bed with him. I looked into the mirror, and I was suddenly filled with thoughts I'd never had before. I thought, imagine how bad he would feel if I hung myself right here. After a couple of hours of sitting on the bath, looking at my reflection, I finally convinced myself to go back to bed. When I returned, my boyfriend apologised, in his sleep may I add, and all of my angry thoughts dispersed. The next morning, the key card for our door stopped working. We had to go to the hotel reception to fix the card. However, it turned out that it was the electronic lock that was broken, so we had to move to a different room. The room we moved to was only a couple of rooms down, but nothing happened in that room. It was completely normal. When I got home, I researched the hotel to see if anyone had died. The only death I found was a woman called Rachel Phillips in 2016, who had gone to the hotel with her girlfriend. She and her girlfriend had argued, and she was found to have hung herself in the bathroom in her room. I had never heard of the incident before, and was shocked to actually find something. The room number wasn't stated, and there was no information on anyone saying about the hotel being haunted. However, when I saw the picture of the woman, I swear that was the face I had seen by the bathroom door. I like to believe she wanted to share with me how she felt, how angry, how upset, and how determined she felt. I sympathise with this young woman and hope she may rest in peace someday. And that is the end of that one. So again, I will leave all the information about that link down below if you want to head over and give that a read yourself. But we are going to move on to the next one. So this next one is a slightly shorter one, and this is called Did a Ghost Follow Me Home? And this was written by Dark Daisy. 2 weeks ago, I and my sister were exploring the woods behind our new house. It was pretty boring, but breathtaking in a way. There was a little creek that ran from the front of the woods to the rest of the houses and a beautiful willow tree. Me and my sisters dipped our feet into the cold water and had lots of fun. This is only the start of when things got weird. It was 7 p.m. and getting dark, so my sister decided we should head back to our house. I agreed, so we started walking back. I'm not sure why, but I felt like we were being watched. I looked behind me and far in the distance I could make out the shape of a human, but like a shadow figure. I couldn't tell if it was walking to us, so I asked my sister to stop for a second. I explained to her that I think we're being watched. She, quite startled by this, asked why I think so. I pointed out in the distance where the figure was still standing. Alexa, my sister, told me we need to get to the house and she'll explain it. I didn't know why we were in such a hurry, but I ran with her to the safety of our house. We locked the back door and sat in the living room. A minute later of hard breathing, Alexa explained that the thing we saw was a ghost that we possibly led to our house. I shrugged my shoulders. Honestly, I didn't care all that much. Just a spirit wandering around our house, I didn't mind. I'd like to say my sister was right. The next day was weird. My family woke up around 6 a.m. hearing a woman screaming help, although no one was there that we knew of. And basically, we all experienced something that day. Our mum was cooking breakfast and went to the restroom when she heard a loud bang and came back to see pots and pans all over the floor. Our dad was listening to the radio while drinking coffee, and the radio oddly kept changing channels, although no one was touching it. My younger sister Sophia was watching TV and the TV kept changing channels oddly enough, but she claimed to not have done anything. Then when my older twin sister Alexa went outside, she said that there was a floaty in the pool moving by itself. I was alone in the dining room, the lights flickered, but no one was around. And that is the end of that one. And that is both stories that I'm going to read out today. Sorry, this is a slightly shorter episode. But if you did enjoy those stories, like I said, feel free to check out the links, go and support the creators that way. I like reading the slightly longer ones because there's a little bit more detail in there. So if you have your own scary story, whether that be short or long, like I said, feel free to send it over to me. I will be more than happy to read it out on the podcast. You guys are going to have to let me know what you thought about these stories today. So feel free to head over to the YouTube channel where you can leave a comment, or the Facebook page where you can leave your thoughts. But thank you so much for listening. If you want to keep up with me, feel free to head on over to my Instagram, which is just at AlienQueenMeg. But that is all for today, so I will catch you in my next one. Stay spooky, guys.